Good day and welcome to a roundup on what appeared on the Evening Review this week. I'm Ashley Smith, the news editor of Namibian Sun. In our first clip, we have an interview with Acting Fisheries Minister Albert Kawana. He spoke to Ukgone Tlhahi about the allocation of fishing quotas and other issues.
What we tried to do was to speak to the Minister, Leon Jooste, of Public Enterprises, but we couldn't get hold of him. But we are very much keen to know what will happen in the coming days as far as the board is concerned. Yeah.
Just on that interview, we've got quite an extensive clip of that interview that Ukgone Tlhahi did.
Yes.
And we'd like the viewers to have a look at that.
On the allocation of fishing quotas, how far is that process? Because there was a...
Yeah, no, that one we are waiting. Because as you know, really, we want the transparency. A to Z transparency, that one I can rest assured. So that's why this time around we decided to do a different, what you call, procedure. As you might have heard, I went to the Cabinet Committee on Economics. I went to the full cabinet. I had the backing of my cabinet, my president, to say that let us be transparent. My president always says, transparency plus accountability equals trust.
On Tuesday, our reporter Jemima Bukers spoke to the NUDO president.
So that is one way of doing things. So, but I think the government at the moment has got a top-down approach. We need to have a bottom-up approach where people should also be, navigate their own programs, have a participatory development approach and have people tell you. I'm thinking about, like another example, gender-based violence is also one issue that is very close to my heart. And there we need to teach. We need to look at what went wrong in our communities, why do we have such a high moral decay in our communities? What happened to the families? Because a family is the smallest unit in our communities, but it's very important because it's in a family that children are molded and they are shaped. So can we still talk about families today in Namibia? Because the families are so broken and all these kind of things. Now, the issues, unemployment, substance abuse, gender-based violence, they are all related.
And on Wednesday, we hosted a panel discussion on women in politics.
What I can say is that the reality is that we've had a society that is predominantly having male leaders. So the thing with the 50-50 quota system is that, when you think of a quota, it basically means you're making provision where there was none. So what it does, it opens the door. Now I'm advocating for doors to be opened where they're shut. We're looking at an opportunity that should be there, that is not there. And that is what we're talking about when we talk about gender inequality. The same way as, for example, you get a job being advertised and they're saying, no, high priority will be given to people with disabilities, high priority will be given to youth, high priority should be given to women leaders to get into the door of decision-making bodies. Now, the part where I sort of put the brakes on is, now, are we putting in just any woman? Or are we putting in women that actually have an interest in politics, have an interest to serve this nation? Because if we're just putting in any woman, then close the door. But I would say the door needs to be open, and that's why I commend political parties like the case of SWAPO now, where they came through with a zebra party list. And out of that, we saw women coming in out.
On Thursday, Namibian Sun editor Toivo Njabela sat down with SWAPO veteran Pendukeni Ivula Itana.
When you come with a slate, you come with an egg, kind of, sealed. And whatever is inside, nobody sees it. And that's why, for example, when I listen to people saying, yeah, this one is not performing, I'm talking about those who came on board on account of the slate.
Yes.
If you say this one is not performing according to your expectation, are you going to pick? These people came as a slate, 4 persons. Are you going to say the slate must go? Or how are you going now to say we rectify this one and not the other one? Yeah, so the party does not have a slate issue, and that what was done was very unconstitutional. Then and now, it's unconstitutional. Talking about the 2012, 2014, and 2017, as I say, I don't want to talk about it. You are hearing what is coming out as to what transpired actually at those 3 or 4 events. The money that played its role. It's not the platform to talk about that, but I have stood within the party as an individual, and I have been assessed by those who are looking at my performance without being assisted by anybody. It was, I placed myself in the hands and in the eyes of the SWAPO membership. And for somebody to come up and say you were defeated here, maybe money defeated me, and not necessarily the party membership.
Then the slate, I now know your view on slate politics, but some people will argue that you yourself also contested on a slate, Team SWAPO. How do you counter that argument?
It's not even true.
Yeah.
We remained, let me start off this way. When the preparations for the Congress was taking place, the acting president then proposed in the Politburo that his candidates were, and then he enumerated. And then we said, no, you cannot nominate yourself and those you want to stand with. Nomination is by individuals. That was withdrawn, and then it was later rectified. So it started in the Politburo. In the Politburo, there was no nomination for Pendukeni, Jerry, or Nahas, or whoever. It went to the Central Committee. The Central Committee then received the report from the Politburo of the 4. And then the Central Committee started now to nominate us individually. Individually, not a slate. Individually, but then the slate went ahead to declare themselves as Harambee, Team Harambee. So some of us felt, how do I join Team Harambee? What is Harambee? That was the question. Then we, as now nominated by the Central Committee individually, felt we are not going to join Harambee. We remain SWAPO. Yeah. That was not a slate. No. And even when we stood at the Congress, we did not stand as 4 or 5 or individually we stood. There was no slate politics amongst the 7 of us who were there.
Okay.
And our final clip is from the Chumeb TOV. Kenya Kambowe reports.
I'm Frederick, can you hear me? I'm the project supervisor here. We've got training from Namibia Poultry Enterprise. This is where we got our skills. Currently we are having 1,950 pigs here. And the maximum they can produce now up to date is around 90%. Meaning we are making 1,700 to 1,800 eggs a day. The main aim is to empower the San people around this area in the community to develop and also to skill them. You see under the cages you will see there is some manure. This manure is also for selling after drying them up. We are going to sell them there for the market for people that are planting. Currently we are having some 5 ladies employed here.
How is the Chumeb TOV benefiting from this poultry farm?
The poultry farm was mainly for the kids we are looking after. There are currently 4 or 2 ladies at the private school. Private schools are very expensive. To help them to achieve what they want to become. As they are saying, doctors one day. We know it's very difficult now and very expensive to put a kid in a private school. So this is it's our main aim to take all this our kids to the private schools.
Okay, thank you.
This one's name is Diana. You see our friend is Diana. Hello Diana, come to meet you.
Thank you so much for joining us on the Evening Review. I'm Ashley Smith, the news editor of Namibian Sun.